goes along with understanding how to run and operate a machine shop. Pastor John is pastor, but he's also a coach. So there's specific vocabulary that goes along with being a basketball coach. If you don't know that vocabulary, if I go to the machine shop, I might know something about aeronautics from reading, but if I go to the machine shop, I don't know much about running machines. And he starts spitting out vocabulary to me, I'm just going to stand there dumbfounded until he explains by definition, right? And I mean, even in families, right? You know, there's vocabulary even in your own family that maybe only you and your family understands, right? Words that you use, terminology that you use. Why you laugh?
Just thinking some of our vocabulary.
So you guys understand what I'm saying. So in order to be able to communicate properly, in order to understand something, in order for things to be effective and flow properly, you have to have the right vocabulary. So I'm going to challenge you, and I can't guarantee we're going to get past what we're going to do tonight. We might go through the whole alphabet, we might not. But we want to build a marriage vocabulary, okay? So my job tonight is start with A. I'm going to give you 3 words for each letter up to the letter J tonight, okay? And when I give you the 3 words, pick one of the 3 words that best describes your marriage vocabulary, okay? So you guys ready? Everybody have a pen, paper? Say something to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, A is your marriage. A, awesome. A, awful. Or A, almost. So, what do you have? Is it, of course, nobody's going to say their marriage is awful in class, right? That's just what it. A couple of these are there to make you think. We don't want you to start talking about how awful your marriage is. But it's there to make you think.
That was really.
Who said their marriage was awesome? Okay. Who said their marriage was almost? That's still. That means what? What's that mean? It's getting there, right?
Almost awesome.
Almost awesome.
That's what I would put.
Almost awesome?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. The people who said their marriage was awesome, let's get some representatives and say why your marriage was awesome. Did my wife put her hand up? That sounds like an excuse to me. I was eating. So, who put their hand up and said their marriage was awesome? Who put it up? All right. People, you put it up twice. Wait, what?
He's sure. He said almost.
He said almost, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, I'm watching now. All right, the people who said awesome, somebody represent awesome for us. Okay, tell me your name.
My name's Maggie.
Maggie? Okay,
Nice to
it's
meet
easy to
you.
remember.
I would say that my guy's awesome because he's a godly man, and he's really, shaped up our household in the godly fashion. So, I'm working on my second marriage, so it's definitely different than the first with a godly atmosphere.
Oh, awesome. All right, somebody else said their marriage was awesome. Tell us why. Don't be shy.
We understand one another.
Good.
She doesn't say something that I don't understand, and I comprehend whatever she says, and
Right.
vice versa.
Right. So, as the people who said that their marriage is awesome, the people who said their marriage is almost, they should be what? Taking notes, right? That'd be smart to go, oh, okay. Godliness, understanding. We're getting a foundation for why these people feel that way. If you want your marriage to feel that way, make sure you're writing down what they say. Oh, that was you.
Laugh a lot.
Laugh a lot.
Laugh a lot.
So your marriage is fine.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else that said their marriage was awesome? Sure.
Well, because we communicate.
Communication. Okay? Communication. That's always a problem in marriage. Anybody else? I think you two young people said it.
Yes, we did. I think because we've both been married before, that this time we know the pitfalls and we really try and avoid them.
Okay? Avoiding pitfalls.
And we're both, you know, every day trying to get closer to Christ.
There you go.
And He is the center of our home.
There you go. Making Jesus everything. All right, well, little Rusty must have misunderstood wedding vows when he heard the preacher say, Rosemary, do you take this man to be your awful wedded husband? Sometimes you don't know that you have an awful wedded husband until after you get married, right? Or an awful wedded wife until after you get married. Some people fool you, don't they? Nobody in here, of course. We're just talking in general. That's the one we want to avoid. We never want to be in a position where we're making our marriage feel like it's awful. That's a bad thing to do. That's a bad position to put somebody in.
Amen.
Where they dread being married. Right?
Amen.
But nobody feels like that. So let's move on to B. 3 words. Pick the one that best describes the vocabulary that best describes your marriage. Be balanced. Be broken. Or be breaking. This sounds like a talk show or like a game show, doesn't
Game
it?
show, yeah.
And we'll get, Russ, you can just be our scripture reader.
Okay, sure.
So what best describes your marriage? Balance, broken, or breaking? I'm going to show you something here. You might be a little scared. You should be more afraid of what words. What is the most dangerous word out of those 3 B's? Breaking. You guys are smart. Why? Why?
Broken's too late.
Huh?
Broken's too late.
No, not necessarily. Because Jesus came to what? Bind up the brokenhearted. When something's broken, you know, right? You get a chance to go at it. But sometimes when something is breaking, right, then it just snaps. And that's when people just make rash decisions. And there's a feeling that you get, right? Okay, here's an example. You can totally rip your ACL apart. Or you can walk around a long time with a nagging little tear that's breaking. Get it? And that's just there all the time. All the time. So sometimes it's better to realize the things that are broken in your marriage, right? And get them fixed, than to run around with things that are just constantly nagging and they're about to really break, right?
Yep.
Because you haven't really dealt with them. See what I'm saying? So that broken means things broken in your marriage. Breaking means your marriage is about to separate. Okay? So B to me represents that there are no perfect marriages. Every marriage has some things in it that are broken. Right? But Jesus is the glue that can put everything back together. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay, so what did you pick? I just said all that up. Didn't even give you a chance to pick, right? What did you pick? Balance? Most people feel like their marriage is balanced? Financially balanced? Spiritually balanced?
But here's the thing.
Yes.
A couple months could be great, and then maybe a couple months could be bad. It's on and off too. So one minute could be great and balanced, and maybe some other time it could be you're having a hard time. So it's kind of hard to.
So that means that it's not balanced then. You haven't reached
So
a
this
balance.
is consistent, huh?
Oh, yeah. If it's not balanced, we go ahead and read first Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1.
Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
There you go. So false balance is abomination to the Lord. In other words, this is this speaks of the way when someone's cheating with weights and they're basically getting over on people. Okay, just to keep it simple. They're using false weights on measures so they can rip people off. So God said he doesn't like that. But he likes a just weight. So if you say it weighs 10 pounds, and you're weighing the 10 pounds of silver against the 10 pounds, right, then it should be 10 pounds. So if you have somebody in the marriage, and I write this down, that carries more weight than somebody else, your marriage is out of balance. What would I mean by that?
Someone does all the work and the other one don't.
Someone does all the work. Someone's completely lazy. I've seen. Woo. That's like one of my pet peeves, man. That's what I was talking about on Sunday, right? You know, we're just gonna will. Just imagine and will be positive, and my bank account's gonna be. And guess what? When I went to my bank account,
Wasn't there?
it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was exactly the way I left it. So you can't will things. How do you get money in your bank account?
Work.
You got to work. You know, and like she's saying, you can't have a marriage where somebody's doing everything.
That's right.
You got to have everybody putting their hand in work, whatever that work is, to get that thing going. But you know, what's some other ways where some people can have more weight than the other? One spouse has more weight.
If you're unequally yoked.
If you're unequally yoked, like what do you mean?
Spiritually, if
Okay.
one person wants to have a relationship with Christ and the other person just, they don't care if they're in church, they don't care if
Right.
they're in the Word.
Yeah. And me and my wife were talking about it. Sometimes you see that with people that you think are spiritual and they get in a situation and they lose a spouse, then all of a sudden you don't see that person in church anymore.
Right.
And you go, wait a minute.
What happened?
I thought they loved Jesus. I thought they were spiritual. Well, I guess they didn't love Jesus like we thought they did, right? So you're right. That could really throw your marriage up. What's another way? I'm thinking of another way. Yeah.
Control.
Control, right? In what way? How did people get control in a marriage?
By taking it.
Huh?
Taking control, which means you do all the bills, the work, the money.
No, we're talking about something a little different. I mean, you're right. You're not wrong. But we're talking about something different here. How do people control? How did we end up where somebody has more weight in the marriage than somebody else, and that marriage is out of balance? What happens?
I know by seeing sometimes the man just doesn't want to argue and the wife takes control and bosses everything.
There you go. What is that? That's emotional, right? There's an overload of emotion somewhere. And now we're in a society. We are in a society that's been so feminized Okay? That we have now, it's flipping around,
Well,
Lou, where the men are crying to their wives. And this is a growing phenomenon. Men are crying to their women. I was watching something last night and the lady said, the last 3 guys I dated, she said, I'm sick and tired of this. They were crying more than I was. That's the worst thing we ever told men. Get in touch with your feelings. You can get in touch with them, but I don't care about them. As a man. And your wife certainly don't need it. You need to cry, call me. I'll let you cry for 5 minutes, and that's it. That's all you get. Well, we got a problem, though. We have a problem. Where's the strength at? Where's the balance? Nobody should be controlling someone emotionally where both people don't feel free to speak their heart and their mind. If you don't feel free to speak your heart and mind, then that means somebody is overloading. There's too much weight on one side. And that means it's somewhere along the line they intimidated you in some kind of way in the marriage. Either by getting radical when you bring something up or frowning when you bring something up. You know, there's always going to be some, we hear a lot, how many hear a lot of things in marriage you don't want to hear? Raise your hand, wave at me if I'm telling the truth. Please let me know I'm saying good things here. Right? You hear things, but you got to grow to the place where you don't respond in ways where your spouse can't respond, and then you know that all you have to do is make that face, and the conversation's going to be over. Right? And that person's hurting inside. That person really needs to talk. But you know, as soon as they say, well, you know, I just was... Never mind. Right? Who you left for? Right? Never mind. You just control them and you suppress them. All right. Ready? C. Which word best describes your marriage? We'll get more out of you this time. Comfortable, concrete, or casual? And it could be a combination of any of those. I mean, any of them. Please speak up and tell me what best describes here.
Concrete.
Yeah, you can pick 2. You can interpret them in the way you can interpret them too. Because it's your book yet, right?
Yeah.
What we got? Somebody help me out. Don't let me sit up here by myself.
All three.
All 3? Okay, what do you mean?
Sometimes we're pretty comfortable. Certain things are carving, they're in concrete. We're done.
Black and white.
Yeah. Other things, let's do casual. Our life, we're not real polished.
Right.
So I think all
Good. Anybody else say all 3? Herbster, you said all 3? Anybody didn't say all 3? Anybody just pick one? You did? What'd you say?
me.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I said concrete,
Okay.
because I was thinking more
Uh-huh.
when you have God in your marriage, you got the 3 chords, can't easily be broken.
Like a solid foundation. Okay. Anybody else?
I have 2.
What you have?
Comfortable and concrete. I'm just not a casual person. I'm structured.
Okay. Anybody else?
And comfortable.
Comfortable?
There's no other way I'd want to spend my life. No other way than married to Sharon.
And that's what people don't understand. The longer you stay married, the more that feeling becomes a part of your life. That's why you try to get people to stay in their marriage through the hard times, because the longer you stay in it, the more you just start feeling like that. You don't need the same things that you needed in your marriage to make you happy. Like, we didn't go nowhere for Valentine. I mean, we went like Saturday or something. We don't care.
Yeah,
Like, I don't need Valentine
but that's why I feel that it was concrete.
Yes.
That's why, because just like you said, we didn't go out until Friday. And it wasn't to nothing fancy or
Right.
anything, but that's concrete to me.
Right, and we had fun.
Right.
You know what's so interesting to me is, I put a lot of energy in the earlier years of our marriage, making sure we went on dates, doing like a lot of things like that. As we've gotten into like the last 5 or so years, it's not even like necessary. But it's funny, before when we would go, I remember just sitting across the table from each other, trying to think of things to talk about. And we would just sit there and look at each other, and I'd be like, we just spent like $75 on this dinner. We could have sat at home and done this, right? Or it took like 40 minutes before we start talking, and it's like a stranger sitting there. But now when we can go anywhere. Literally, I mean, we can go to a Dunkin' Donut, and we'll just talk the whole entire time. You know, when you allow that marriage to become concrete, it matures. That's why you have to let concrete settle, right? Don't touch it, don't disturb it, let it alone, let it settle. But people don't let that phase go through. I was also thinking something else, because if you look, we're trying to put different words, kind of mean different things together. But I was also thinking about concrete being hard, right?
Yeah.
Some marriages are comfortable, like a pillow, and some marriages are like hard. Right? Yep. Just make sure your marriage is not hard. Well, no, we don't want you to talk about it. We just want to throw those in there, just stuff to think about, right? D. Is your marriage doubtful, dangerous, or is it a dream?
Was the first one doubtful?
Yeah. Doubtful, dangerous, or is it a dream? Doubtful, dangerous, or a dream? Hit me with it.
It's an adventure every day. That's right.
Okay, interpret how you want to interpret.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought you said it was a drain.
It's not.
You say it's rain?
That's what
Dream. Doubtful, dangerous,
Dream to me is like,
dream.
dream is different to me. Dream is
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Interpret them how, that's what I want. Yeah. What we got?
None of the above.
None? It doesn't have to be.
dangerous.
Dangerous? Okay, what do you mean by that?
Because every day is a different adventure. It's not set, and being a dream, you're dreaming, it's not reality.
It could be, you can interpret it that way.
But
Absolutely.
I felt it dangerous because every day you wake up
Hardly.
and it's
Taking
always
on the
different.
world.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. And God always gives you that challenge.
Right.
New every
So
morning.
it's always a dangerous thing.
Not bad. Anybody else? What would I mean by doubtful? That's probably connected to something we already said, right? In the B's.
You're unsure of your
Breaking.
Right?
breaking.
Doubtful. Some people's marriage, they don't know if they're gonna make it from this week to the next week. That's how it feels, right? Dangerous. You know what when I was thinking of dangerous in the marriage, that your marriage is a bad example to other people. That's dangerous. That's like these people. Did you see the guy? He just broke a world record. I should have got his name. For climbing this. For, huh?
He was blind?
No. He climbed it was like almost straight up and down a mountain. It's like some kind of dream for these crazy people who go out and risk their lives. And what he did was, this is what he did. First you go out with your ropes, you know, and you mark every single place that it takes to climb that mountain, okay? And I mean, it is as vertical as that fireplace, okay? I mean, he might as well have been climbing that fireplace, you know, I don't know how high it was, 1,000 feet up. It was crazy. He had to mark, he had to memorize, I think he said 2,000 spots. And it took him like 3, 4, it took him a long time. You had to look it up. Don't quote me on the logistics of it. But I'm thinking, how dangerous was that? Like, and in the long run of things, like that's a bad example. Because somebody is going to try that. Everything you do in your marriage is an example to somebody.
Yep.
Right?
Especially our kids.
You're right. Now you took the words right out of my mouth. Say it again.
Especially our kids.
To your kids. Your kids are watching. And your grandkids are watching. And your friends are watching.
Yep.
And your neighbors are watching. And your co-workers are watching.
Yep.
You see? So is your marriage dangerous? Could somebody follow your marriage and fall off the cliff? If they did exactly what you're doing in your marriage, what would happen to them? What would their marriage be like? Just something to think about, right?
Yep.
There were 10 henpecked husbands. Got tired of being henpecked. They got together and made themselves a little like society, you know. Let's get together and stop all this henpecked stuff. So the very first meeting, they all got together, hanging out. They had their wine and they were smoking their cigars. All of a sudden, boom, 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 boom! The 10 wives busted into the room. Of course, guys jump up, 9 of them. They leave the room. Hands on their hips, shaking their heads with a little maniacal smirk on their face. They achieved their goal, they walked out the room. There was one guy sitting there. All the other guys said, hey, that guy had nerve, man. We're going to make him the president of the organization. They walk over to him, hit him, and he's dead. That's bad, isn't it? Dangerous, man. Dangerous. Woo. E. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Is your marriage even? And this is piggybacks on what we said. Is it Everest? Mount Everest. Or is it effort? Effort. Effort. So, if you think of even, this is how I'm seeing these words, okay? You can look at them your way. Do you want your heart rate to fluctuate? What do you want your heart rate to be like? Steady, right? So think of even that way, right? And we already gave you an example of Everest, right? Something to think about. And effort. Effort. You shouldn't always, well, let me hear from you guys first. I talk too much, too fast. What do you got? How do you describe it? Effort.
I'd say effort.
Effort.
Pretty even. I think there's an effort involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything.
Okay. So what if we said effortless?
No.
You better be kind of effort.
Right.
So what do we mean by effort? How many put that effort? Put your hand up for me. Okay. How many put even? Anybody put even? Some people put even in effort, right?
Yeah.
Does your marriage ever feel, did it ever feel like Everest?
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then.
Every now and then, huh?
That's why it's an effort.
Right? That's why it's an effort.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because each person has to put an effort into.
Right. See, let me show you how I'm interpreting this. Okay? Effort means, see, when you put effort into something that you like,
It's not effort.
but you're still putting the energy into it.
Right.
That's the other kind of effort I'm talking about. That's the effort you guys are talking about, I hope. Not the kind that I was thinking. Kind that I'm thinking is when you have that job and you're only going for the paycheck. You don't even want to get out of bed.
That's not marriage.
But you're just going because you got bills to pay. Sometimes people's marriage can get like that. That's a bad way to live, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your marriage is just an effort, man. You know why that happens? And I'll put this down as a note. I don't actually take notes very often, but this is why that happens. Because that person never makes you feel like you're good enough. They always find something wrong. And that's when your marriage starts feeling like an effort. Sometimes you just got, tell your neighbor, right? Sometimes you got to just shut your mouth. That's my little ghetto side coming out there. All right? Tell your neighbor to shut their mouth sometimes. Seriously, man. I mean, you don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. Because that'll make that person feel like they can never make you happy. And there's something about us psychologically, the way that God developed us, made us. He made us to want to please. Otherwise, we would have no nature to please God. But He made us to want to please. When we get into relationships with people, it's natural for us to want their approval. But if you are constantly nitpicking and badgering and fault finding, that person is going to feel like that marriage is just an effort. Right? Everest. Everest to me means, and it kind of goes back to what our friend said. What's your name, buddy?
Dawn.
Dawn. What Dawn said, dream. There's like this weird thing that goes on in our culture they call power couples. You know, we're going to be a power couple. You know, we're going to take on the world. We're both going to become millionaires. Our kids are going to be the smartest kids in school, and they're going to be the best athletes. We're going to be a power couple. That's like
Make
Everest.
movies like that. Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you got to say, hey, this is good. We don't have to achieve anything else. Some people, I watch some of these programs, and it's good education. It's good education because it's breeding things in our culture. You see this in church with these pastors and their wives. It's like, would you stop all the gooey presentation? It's like making me sick. Seriously. The wife and him are standing up there and they're talking about how successful they are. Would you shut up? All the things that you have to achieve, all the greatness that we always have to achieve. I mean, no, you don't have to be great, folks.
Just have to be happy.
Yep, thank you. I couldn't have said it better. Write that down. You don't have to be great, you just have to be happy. Exactly. You get my point?
Yes.
Even killed. You don't have to take over the world. You have to take on the world, but you don't have to take over the world. You don't have to climb Mount Everest and be the greatest couple that ever walked the face of the earth. You don't have to be Beyonce and what's his name, Jay-Z. Just be who you are. All right? I like this. The most impressive example of tolerance is the golden wedding anniversary.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that? That's the. Why would somebody say that? That's the most impressive example of tolerance.
It's 50 years.
50 years of what?
Tolerating.
Right? What? I'll guarantee you they learned that word even. Right? Even. Because it also represents, goes back to something else we said, that there's balance, but they have even input, right, in the marriage. And what he says weighs as much as what she says. But they had to work to get there. Because I'm sure, huh?
That goes back to effort. If you put effort into something, that means it means something to you.
Right.
You put effort into your marriage, and it means something. You put effort, everyone here put effort into coming here this evening. It was an effort, but it is something that we all know is going to be of benefit to us. Therefore, we put the effort into being here tonight and learning.
Yeah.
Sharon and I have done that for over 51 years.
51 years.
Yeah,
Let's
and
give
there's a
them
lot of give and take.
How many want that? Right? Everybody want that? That's why you're here. I want it.
That's okay.
So, you guys have experienced having to go through the phases where you had to learn to give equal authority and operation in your marriage.
Exactly.
Where no one was controlling the marriage, where no one was afraid in the marriage. You had to get past all that. All right, F, you ready? Is your marriage first, forced, or firm? Firm.
Forced. Yeah, it's a good thing you don't have a...
What I sound like English or something?
Forced and forced. Forced white.
What is it? Russ said something, and I want you to think about this. He said they had to put effort into their marriage. I see this a lot with people. You ever see this? We still love each other, but we couldn't be married. You hear people saying that?
Yeah.
We still love you. I still love her, but we just couldn't be married. So isn't that something? Do people say that? And I believe it.
Right.
But what's missing?
That's
In what?
the marriage.
The idea and the concept and the institution of marriage. You see? Not just loving that person. That old, that song, "Love Can Keep Us Together," is not true. Right?
Sorry, Tanil.
You need more than love. You need some effort. You need to say that my marriage is something, not just our relationship is something. Some people are so stuck on the relationship and the romantic side of being with somebody that they don't understand they have obligated themselves to an institution. And they have to go, I have a commitment to this institution to make it work. And I'm going to put the effort in it that's necessary. Right? Because how many benefits? How many benefits do we have to being married in here? If you feel like you got a benefit for being married, somebody say amen.
Amen. Tax break.
Right? It's a benefit. People that are married are healthier. People that are married have more money. People that are married are more mentally sound. You don't feel like it's tax break. Yeah, it is a tax break. It's wonderful. marriage has a lot of benefits, yeah.
You know, Russ had hip replacement 3 weeks ago. And since then, I've had to do his jobs around the house. And I was telling him how I really appreciate the different roles that we have and that, you know, we share the load, and how, you know, it would be hard as a woman to be single. Because, you know, I had to go put air in my tire. I've never had to do that. He always did it for me. I had to pump my own gas. I had to take the garbage out. You know, all these jobs that he does, now I have to do them because he can't do them temporarily. But it really made me appreciate how much he's a helpmate to me, and how we share the load of just life. Just doing things you have to get done.
How many know your marriage should be first for F?
Yep.
Not your kids, not your job. Your marriage is first. All right, let's move through these quickly. We got about 8 minutes. G, are you grateful for your marriage? Are there grudges in your marriage? Or is your marriage graceful? And when I say graceful, I mean full of grace. I'll give you scripture here, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. How many is grateful for your marriage? This is vocabulary that fits marriage, right? I don't think that word grateful fits in your Christianity, right? Between you and God, no better place for it. But I think the second best place for that word grateful, I don't think it could be placed anywhere better than in marriage. Because I'm going to tell you something. You lose that person, your eyes will open up real quick. Your eyes will open up real quick. You'll be like, ooh, I should have been more grateful. Yeah, don't be guilty of that. Right? Scripture?
1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
Yeah, that's a powerful verse, man.
Amen.
Just think. How many prayer meetings are null and void when there's married people in the room? According to that verse, that your prayers be not hindered. God's not listening to our prayers if we're at odds with one another.
That's right.
And generally, when we're at odds with one another, we're not being grateful.
Right.
It's not the thing that we're arguing about. We just forget to be grateful. Because if you just go, you know what? No, it's not that important. I'm glad that God blessed me with somebody.
Amen.
Most stuff that you're going to get in tussles and arguments, they're not even important, man. Just leave it alone. And we're just going to get these last three. You ready? H, their harmony. And I put words in here that connect, right? The whole way through. Hard. Or is it hindered? Some marriages are just stuck. They have not grown in their marriage. And as the scripture shows us, or their relationship with God. So if your marriage is stalled, your relationship with God is stalled. And that means everything you're doing. And how do we know this? Do you think we would get this by now at the church, right? You think we would get this by now? How do we know that that is true? I want you to really put your thinking caps on right there. If your marriage is hindered, then your ministry is hindered. Your church life is hindered. Your walk with God is hindered. How do we know that's true? We see it all the time. We should be tired of seeing it. What is it, Pastor John?
Divorce.
Huh?
Divorce.
What do we see? Not just in the church.
Couples that aren't married.
Huh?
Couples that aren't married.
Couples aren't married?
That aren't married.
Aren't married, yes. What have we seen so much in the church today? And it's really not as bad, but it gets pushed out in front of us and we see it more than we should. Anybody, huh?
Lack of commitment.
Lack of commitment? Think about what I'm saying. Your marriage is hindered, your ministry is hindered.
It made me want to go. So I don't understand. Maybe he didn't want to go, but I went.
Mm-hmm. Marriage is hindered, your ministry is hindered. Where have we seen that? Anybody ever hear of Jimmy Swaggart?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody ever hear of Jim Baker?
Yeah.
And we can just keep going on and on and on. What was really wrong?
Yeah.
Talk back to me, children. What was really wrong with Jimmy Swaggart?
No
Something wrong with his marriage.
Something wrong with him, yeah.
You're not running around chasing prostitutes if you're happy with your wife. You're not meeting up with the secretary and playing with her at a hotel if you're happy with your wife.
Amen.
You understand what I'm teaching you? So people get up and do all this faking, and your marriage is messed up. Your preaching's messed up, buddy.
That's right.
And it's just a matter of time before it gets exposed. I'm passionate about that. I now, just write these down. Independent, interactive, or intercepted. Let me explain this real quick, okay? Because I want to get to this last one. Independent. That means you have two people living in the house, and they're basically roommates. Right? The one's doing their thing, the other one's doing their thing. And you guys can fill in all the blanks from there, right? Some people, marriages like that. Interactive, we talked about that, right? We mature, we go out now, we just talk. Like two little birds. Intercepted, that means you have too many things going on in your life that's interrupting the flow of your marriage. It's going to get you. Nobody is Superman. No marriage can withstand numerous interruptions. Interruption. Because all your energy is gone. And you don't have the energy to be interactive. Hello. All right, last one I wanted to really get to. The preacher said, do you take this man for better or for worse? Mandy said, he can't be no worse. And there is no hope that he's going to get any better. So I just take him as is. How many know when you got married, you didn't get a warranty? You didn't get a guarantee. You got as is. Right? So last, is your marriage a joy? See, I thought everybody was going to erupt. After all this work I just put in. Is your marriage a joy? Is your marriage a joke? Some people are laughing at you, and you don't even know it. Lastly, this is very important right here. That's why I'm going to hurry up. And I'm right on time, 8 o'clock. So if you give me 2 minutes, we'll be done. 8 o'clock, I'm done. Write this down. Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. You read that for us real quick. Is your marriage full of jealousy? What's the power of this? Exodus 20 and 17. Our society creates jealousy for marketing. Jealousy is a part of marketing in our culture. They make people feel inadequate constantly. So they look at things and they think, and then they get a jealous eye. So if they don't have this and they don't have that and they don't have this, then jealousy creeps in. Right? The same thing can happen in marriage. What's the Bible say?
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife,
stop
Nor
right there.
his.
Somebody can be married to somebody and wishing they was with somebody else.
Sure.
Man, that's nasty, ain't it? That's like a baseball bat, ain't it? Wow. Wow. See, I told my wife, I've been around. I've been around a long time, and I've had a lot of experiences. I've been blessed with a lot of experiences, and I've counseled. I've had literally, I'm probably up to now 18,000 counseling sessions. I'm not even exaggerating at all. Okay, so I'm pretty good at reading people and seeing things in people and watching people. Some things you can't hide. You can try. But there's that little look in the eye that you can't hide when you look at somebody. And sometimes people can look at you and they're married and they shouldn't be looking at you like that. And sometimes you might be looking at somebody and you're married and you shouldn't be looking at somebody like that. You say, why didn't he stop on Joy? That was a lot easier, wasn't it? To stop at Joy. But you got to check yourself, folks.
Right.
The devil's slick.
Yes, he is.
The devil's slick. And he'll have you in a marriage, and the whole time you're thinking about somebody else. Could be a coworker. Could be in church. That's bad stuff, folks. That's something you need to really check yourself and practice looking straight ahead. And, you know, as I close, I was in a recent counseling. It was kind of more like an interview session with somebody. It was a female. My wife was there. You know, we have this stupid thing in our culture, you know, Lou, when, you know, you want to see if somebody's really telling you the truth, you look them in the eye. You know, so if I want to know if you're really, I just look you in the eye real hard. First of all, I don't want to look nobody in the eyes like that but my wife. So I'm looking away from you because you're making me uncomfortable. Not because I'm hiding something. You understand what I'm saying? Like, keep your eyes where they belong. I don't even know that person. What are you looking at me like that for? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I don't even know you. It's the first time I met you. I hope you're not watching. You understand what I'm saying? Keep your eyes where they belong. If you look at somebody long enough and you keep comparing to your spouse, you can end up being attracted to people that you don't need to be attracted to. And check this out as I close. I'll write this down if I was smart. Everybody looks good from a distance. And you can interpret that from there, right? On your own. Everybody looks good from a distance, buddy. Thank you guys for coming.
20 foot.
Very good.